guys, welcome back to my channel, Lenamonee. So today's video is going to be set up a little bit differently. I'm going to be discussing 7 Black authors that I want to read or have read already. So for some of them, I actually have the books, like the hardcovers here, and I'll just be reading the backs of them. The backs of them because for me, that determines if I'm really interested in reading the book, if I want to explore it any further than what they've written. Also, I'm going to let you know where the authors are originally from. I don't know, for me, I think it's always fun to see, like, bring it all back down to earth for me to realize that these people are just like me and they're from all over. Also, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why and how I got into writing so much and reading. And I will also be putting in the description box the timestamp for when the actual book review will start. So if you don't want to hear me ranting on, you can just pass it, okay? All right, so anyway, it started when I was in elementary school. I was not a big fan of writing or reading at that time, and I had failed one of the classes. So in order for me to get to the next class, I had to take summer school. So I took summer school. My mom had bought Hooked on Phonics. It was all the craze on the TV commercials all the time. And there I was sitting in my room at my desk with Hooked on Phonics. And I guess it really helped me. No, I don't guess. It did help me very much. I passed my summer class and went on to my next class. I wasn't behind any grades. And I also gained a love of reading. I gained a love of reading, and my mother Sue, seeing how that flourished within me. She loved to read as well. So 2 of these books that I'm actually going to show you are actually hers. And one of them I read, one of them I have not read. But she definitely catered to my love of reading. She used to buy me books for like Christmas and for my birthday, or just random days out at the bookstore wandering around, and I would sit there and beg. And for some of those books, I actually still have the little kid books, and I got to read them to my son when I had him, and in hopes he'll keep them in good shape so he can read it to his children, and so on and so on. And let's get started. The first book is by Maya Angelou. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Maya Angelou is originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and the back of it states, "This testimony from a Black sister marks the beginning of a new era in the minds and hearts and lives of all Black men and women. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings" liberates the reader into life simply because Maya Angelou confronts her own life with such a moving wonder, such a luminous dignity. I have no words for this achievement, but I know that not since the days of my childhood, when the people in books were more real than the people one saw every day, have I found myself so moved. Her portrait is a biblical study of life in the midst of death. This is the autobiography of Maya Angelou, and I grew up reading her poetry, but not her books. And I'm really glad that I found this because I will be starting to read this week. This is a very old book. The cover isn't even really attached anymore. Well, not really. It's not attached anymore. I gotta get some glue to fix that situation. And I am a stickler for, like, when I read certain types of books, I like to mark them up with like highlights, like, ooh, this is really good. Ooh, this is really good. This is really good. If that's you, if you're one of those people that marks up your books when you're reading it, even though it's leisurely, leave a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. That just lets me know, yep, I'm one too. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this book. Like I said, I love her poetry, so I know this won't be anything short other than perfect. The next book is called The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I got the hardcover. Toni Morrison is originally from Lorain, Ohio. And if you guys didn't already know, I live in Ohio. So this book was my mother's as well. And I remember, I don't know if she was reading this for like school or anything, because when I was young, she was in college. And I found this book and I read the back. Like I said, I always read the back. And I got so excited, and I was like talking to her as if she didn't even read it yet. I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, like the main character has the same first name as you. And I felt that my mom's first name was so unique. I never met anyone in real life with her same name, even to this day. I haven't met anyone with her exact first name. So for The Bluest Eye, Toni Morrison. The Bluest Eye, published in 1970, is the first novel written by Toni Morrison, winner of the 1993 Nobel Prize in Literature. It is the story of 11-year-old Piccola Breedlove. Piccola is the first name of my mom. A black girl in an America whose love for its blonde, blue-eyed children can devastate all others, who prays for her eyes to turn blue so that she will be beautiful, so that people will look at her, so that her world will be different. This is the story of the nightmare at the heart of her yearning and the tragedy of its fulfillment. This book I've read already. It is an amazing book. I loved it. You will feel all kinds of emotions. It also makes you, well, at least it made me, I should say, reflect onto myself. Like, do I have those thoughts? I think we all get to a certain time in our lives when we're young that we realize that we are different from our friends when it comes to skin tone. I know definitely my son went through that. He hit, and even when he realized, like, oh, I'm different color than my friend, you know, it made me think about my own reaction at what age I came to the realization. This book really makes you think. And Toni Morrison, after I read this book, I tried to read some of her other books. At that time when I was younger, it was a hard read for me. I don't know, I just thought she was a hard read. I'm like, whoa, I don't know what she's doing or what she's writing up in these books, but it's kind of hard. But as I got older, and I reread this book too. So really great read. I think you will really enjoy this book. All right, next one. Becoming by Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is originally from Chicago, Illinois. And I got this book when as soon as this book came out, I got this book. I ended up buying mine from Sam's Clubs because some places were like out, gone, you gotta wait. But yeah, I got mine at Sam's Club. I love this book. This is one of those books that I did like highlight in it. Like I did mark it up. On the back, there's a lot I still don't know about America, about life, about what the future might bring. But I do know myself. My father, Fraser, taught me how to work hard, laugh often, and keep my word. My mother, Marion, showed me how to think for myself and to use my voice. Together, in our cramped apartment on the south side of Chicago, they helped me see the value in our story, in my story, in the larger story of our country, even when it's not pretty or perfect, even when it's more real than you want it to be. Your story is what you have, what you will always have. It is something to own. So yeah, this was a really great read. For me, I'm gonna be honest. Again, if I lost this book, would I repurchase it? Yes, I would, because I really liked it. But I felt like, I'm gonna explain it like in the way of a roller coaster. You know, you're excited to get on the roller coaster, you're going, the anticipation, you go up, you hit that peak of excitement, you're coming down, you're still high from the rush, and then you're getting ready to get to the end. And I felt like it just kept going, like it went past the end and it was still going, and I'm like, when is it gonna end? But other than that, like, I really loved this book. I really saw, you know, pieces of myself within her story, especially in the beginning, when she talks about playing the piano. I played the piano when I was young, but I did not appreciate it. I think it was because I was too young, maybe a little rebellious because my mom was making me do it and I didn't want to do it. But I saw pieces of myself within her story, and I really loved this book. So if you have not read her book, I hope you do go grab it either at the library or pick it up and add it to your literary books. Literary books. All right, but otherwise, yeah, Becoming is a really great book. So for the rest of them, I just have papers because I don't have these books in hand. I don't have these. So the first one is by Jacqueline Woodson, called Brown Girl Dreaming. She's originally born in Columbus, Ohio. Raised in the south of New York, Woodson always felt halfway home in each place. A vivid poems in vivid poems, she shares what it was like to grow up as an African American in the 1960s and 1970s, living with the remnants of Jim Crow and her growing awareness of the civil rights movement. Touching and powerful, each poem is both accessible and emotionally charged, each line a glimpse into a child's soul as she searches for her place in the world. Woodson's eloquent poetry also reflects the joy of finding her voice through writing stories, despite the fact that she struggled with reading as a child. Her love of stories inspired her and stayed with her, creating the first sparks of the gifted writer she was to become. So how I came upon her was through YouTube. So since it is still February and they're showing like Black History Month content on YouTube right now, there's this corner they had, it's called YouTube Authors, and she was one of them. So what caught my attention is, like, I was listening to the podcast they had, and also I went and listened to her TED Talk, where she also talked about more of her childhood, like reading difficulties that she had. She said that she read really slow, and you know, she felt like something was wrong with her because of that. And at the same time, as she grew older, you know, she's older now, and she still reads slowly, but she just appreciates the words on the pages more. Words in a book is not supposed to be rushed. It's supposed to be something that you enjoy and just appreciate. And it just gave her a better appreciation for the words to put on the paper, because we must say, for someone to write a book, it does not take a day. Okay. Also on the YouTube chat, she discussed about the LGBTQ community that she is a part of. And I love her expression about mirrors and windows. Mirrors and windows, she says when she likes to write mirrors, it shows a reflection of yourself when you read it. You can see yourself within the story, but also windows. It takes you to a place you haven't been, but you could also eventually see yourself. So I really loved her talkings about this book, Brown Girl Dreaming. It's basically, like she said, it's an autobiographical book about her life, starting as a child. And they also discussed another book that she had written on the YouTube Authors, but this was the one that I was most interested in purchasing or reading on my own. Nikki Giovanni. The book I'm interested in is A Good Cry, What We Learned from Tears and Laughter. And she's originally born in Knoxville, Tennessee. Okay. So in A Good Cry, she takes us into her confidence, describing the joy and peril of aging and recalling the violence that permitted her parents' marriage and her early life. She pays homage to the people who have given her life meaning and joy, her grandparents who took her in and saved her life, the poets and thinkers who have influenced her, and the students who have surrounded her. Nikki also celebrates her good friend Maya Angelou and the many years of friendship, poetry, and kitchen table laughter they shared before Angelou's death in 2014. So I had the great pleasure while attending Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. Nikki Giovanni actually came out and gave a talk, a literary talk with us into our class, and it was amazing. I also got to take a picture with her, which I will post so you guys can see that. I was just like so moved by her speaking. It was just, I can't even explain it. Like, it was just like that. I can't even explain it, but it was just really amazing. I was at awe. I was just blocked out any kind of other noise I thought I could have heard, and was just asphyxiated on her and what she was talking about. She is also, as it's stated here, that she is also a poet as well, and that's what we were talking about when she came in. It was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. I will never forget that moment. Very, very, very kind, respectful woman. Very love her. This book is written by Krystal, Esmi. This is my best friend, actually. She just got done writing a book. The title is unknown currently. The book is coming out this year, and she is originally from Cleveland, Ohio. And I asked her if she would just write a little excerpt for me, like what I could share with my audience. And so she wrote this down for me, and I'm just reading it word for word, because nobody can say anything better about their books than the author, right? Right. And then also just to let you know, when Share Books does drop, I will be able to do a review on it with you guys. So that will be exciting for me. Okay. So, written with a special emphasis on Black women, this book dissects and critiques some of the most pivotal facets of modern womanhood to bring truth, clarity, and the wherewithal to walk in a womanhood to a greater degree. It is a teach unlike any other, as it confronts harmful modern erroneous ideology as it relates to contemporary womanhood. These 100K words of original fire will be in bookstores soon. Hey! Okay, sorry, but I'm excited for her, and I just can't wait until the book drops. Okay, like I said before, I will be doing a review on her book when it comes through. I know it also speaks about femininity, so you want to hit that notification bell so you do not miss when that review will drop. All right, and then for the last book, this is by Toni McMillan. Toni McMillan is one of my favorite authors. I've been reading her books since middle school. I had to think about that. I've been reading her books for a long time. I actually don't own any of her books, but this one I probably will purchase. And if her name sounds familiar to you guys, she also wrote How Stella Got Her Groove Back, and also Waiting to Exhale, which also turned into motion picture films. So for this one, Toni McMillan, the book is called I Almost Forgot About You, and she is from Port Huron, Michigan. Okay, so in I Almost Forgot About You, Dr. Georgia Young's wonderful life, great friends, family, and successful career aren't enough to keep her from feeling stuck and restless when she decides to make some major changes in her life, including quitting her job as an optometrist and moving house. She finds herself on a wild journey that may or may not include a second chance at love. Georgia's bravery reminds us that it's never too late to become the person you want to be, and that taking chances with your life and your heart are always worthwhile. I've always loved her books because she speaks so, I don't know, like so real life. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you know, these books, they show you conversations and stuff like that, but it's always like these girlfriend situations, or I'm not gonna say controversy, but like when you're with your girlfriends or with your guy friends, you know, you're chilling or whatever, and you're just hanging, and the way that you speak to them, all that chopper talk, she talks the exact same way. So it's gonna be full of laughter, it's gonna be full of crying, it's gonna be full of like all these emotions she wants you to have, and she makes you have them. And a lot of times I'm just laughing. And I don't know if anybody read the books that were turned into movies, like Waiting to Exhale or How Stella Got Her Groove Back. I read Waiting to Exhale. I didn't get to read How Stella Got Her Groove Back, but I did still see both of the films, and I actually own Waiting to Exhale with Whitney Houston. But like all that bickering that they were doing, you know, stuff that you want to be like, yes, girl, yeah, you know, that's the same reaction I get when I read her books. So yeah, she's one of my favorite authors. She keeps coming with the great hits, and I'm going to keep on reading them. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope I gave you guys some new ideas of some books to read during quarantine. And hit the like button, subscribe, join the Lena crew over here. We are still growing. And asante sana. Thank you very much. Peace, YouTube.